Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. Hope all of y'all had a good weekend. My weekend was very busy, as things have been lately. So today is finishing up the villager breeder that I started on Friday's video. And I did get a lot of footage, and I'm going to be sharing some of the rest of the footage on Friday. It's going to be something kind of separate but related. Anyway, I'm making a bridge from my farm or villager breeder to a village where I can find villagers and bring them back. Now, this process usually is pretty long and difficult, so not my favorite thing, but it's always necessary for this stage of the game with making farms and so on. So, but I've generally found that at least for me as a Bedrock player, the minecart method is the best. Some people can use boats, and I mean, honestly, if you got a village that's accessible by water, and you're building your villager breeder or farm or whatever on connected water, like obviously that's going to be way easier. But in my cases, it doesn't usually happen that way. So anyhow, I found minecart track is usually the easiest, fastest, most efficient way to get it. And it works out pretty well because of that iron vein that I had found, golly, weeks ago. I had so much iron I didn't know what to do with, and so this was a good use for it. And once again, as a reminder, I'm using the villager breeder design by JC Plays. He always makes his farms for Bedrock. You can find all of his stuff on YouTube. He's very thorough. He's very good, very concise. His tutorials are very easy to follow, and he usually has an items listing as well, so you can easily tell what kind of supplies you need to get it done and make sure you're ready before you even start. So that's very, very useful. Now, if you've never done anything with a villager breeder before, it doesn't matter the type of villagers that you get. They don't even need to have workstations, just as long as they've got, as long as you can bring them to the villager breeder and they can connect to a bed, you're good. So, and you just need 2 of them, so as long as you can access like a village, you should be more than fine. Or, you know, if you want to convert 2 zombie villagers back to villagers and use that, you can do that, I guess. But that seems like a lot more trouble than it's worth. But especially because in the villager breeder, you're not going to be able to access them. Access. English is weird. You're not going to be able to access them for trades. So I find getting them from a village is just as easy. All right. So I'm setting up kind of an area to prevent the minecart from falling, or excuse me, to prevent the villager from like falling out. So as you can see, got him here, knocking him in. So you do want to get the minecart back, so you do kind of have to break things to get there. But hey, that's just kind of how the game works. I'm going to jump down here, remove the glass block, and of course I don't have silk touch yet, so I'm going to have to bring another glass block back and replace it, but that's just the name of the game sometimes. That's just how it goes. So, alright, got that minecart, and then we're off for villager number 2. So, with this villager breeder, I do think that the first farm I'm going to make with it is going to be an iron farm. And iron farms are a lot of time investment. They are a lot of work, but at this stage of the game, there's not really any other farm that's in super high demand yet. I don't need a gunpowder farm. I don't really need much of anything else just yet. So we're just going to go with, iron and see what turns up next. But of course, that's not going to be made this video. So keep watching. it took me 4 separate tries to get this guy up that minecart hill. So if you're doing this, be prepared for a decent amount of frustration with that. Just being honest. I don't want to discourage you from making this, but be prepared that there is a decent amount of frustration that will occur. So, just so you're aware. But then I got him here. And so the next stage of this farm is to make like a platform with beds for all your villagers. And okay, so that might happen when you're doing this. And the way I overcame that is I kind of built like a wall around him to prevent him from escaping when I get rid of the minecart. Because I've had it happen before where I've knocked the minecart out and the villager escaped. So we want to prevent that. So this is kind of how I did so. I wanted to be very intentional, very careful that I didn't lose this guy, because I didn't want to have to chase him down. I didn't want to have to go get another villager. So there we go. Knocked out the minecart. He's safely inside his little box where he's supposed to be. And voila. So once I got some beds, you place them on the platform behind the farm. And all that does is that gives each villager an opportunity to connect to a bed. So that way when you're shipping them off to another farm or whatever, you actually have villagers that are not going to despawn. So if you have the beds there, that kind of anchors the villager and keeps them around. So anyhow, this part is very important, but it took way more wool than I initially had. So I did have to take some time in the game to get some sheep and to harvest a lot of wool. So that's one of the things that I initially occurred. And actually, as it turns out, since those villagers connected to a bed, finally, they went ahead and started the breeding process, because I guess back at their village, they had already had food. So I started the farm with already having a couple of baby villagers, which was very nice. So you want to make sure that there's no openings, no 1 block high openings at like ground level for them when they're spawning, to let them escape. Just a heads up. And I know that I did say that I'm probably going to be doing a cat. I kind of didn't realize that it would just spawn. Anyway, I know that I said I was probably going to do an iron farm first. I may actually call an audible and do some kind of trading, like, not like station, but, a spot with villagers to trade, like librarians or blacksmiths or something like that. So not 100% sure what my next stage is going to be, but we'll get there soon. And obviously game progression is going to be happening quickly from this point forward. So appreciate you guys tuning in today. Looking forward to making more content for you on Friday. If you're on TikTok, subscribe. If you're on YouTube, like, subscribe, and ring the bell. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.